In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 great books or articles you can read to help improve your physical well-being today. Welcome to What Happens Next. Welcome back to What Happens Next, the channel dedicated to helping you, if you're at a crossroads in your life and you're in your 50s and 60s, think about the factors that are going to mean that you live a life well lived in this next chapter of your life. Now, for a lot of people, this next chapter historically is called retirement, but my experience tells me that often we're looking at the next chapter of our life in a slightly more nuanced way and thinking about the component parts that might mean we live a life well lived. Who am I to talk about this subject? My name's Chris. I've been helping people for 2 decades now plan that next stage of their life, primarily talking about the money side and working out how much is enough to live the life you want, as my role as a chartered financial planner. And I'm really grateful for the work I do because I get to tell people when they've reached a point of having enough and empower them with the knowledge and skills, hopefully, to live the life they want next. However, what I've realised, certainly more recently, is that even having enough money can mean that there's still a gap. And interestingly, sometimes that gap is in our physical wealth because we've spent so much time working in our businesses or working on our careers that we might have neglected our physical wealth a bit. Now, that doesn't apply to you all. Some people will have run successful businesses and throughout that period of time continue to focus on their physical health. I'm talking to you if you know that you could probably, now you've hopefully got a bit more time, improve your physical health. Before I start talking about that and the 3 things you should read today to get you on that journey, I'd ask you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're on a real mission at What Happens Next to help as many people as possible navigate that crossroads, or as one of my guests on What Happens Next said the other day, the T-junction, because they haven't got any choice about going left or right. They can't move straight on. They're just sick of what they're doing, which is an interesting analogy. I'm really committed at What Happens Next to try and help people as much as I can in a range of different ways. Now, we've got 2 ways for free you can get the most out of What Happens Next today. Number 1 is the What Happens Next quiz, which is designed to help you work out where you are in a bunch of areas of your own well-being and think about what you might want to improve in that next chapter in your life. There should be a QR code below that you can take a photo of, pause the video, take a photo of on your phone that will take you right to the What Happens Next quiz so that you can do it today and work out what you need to do in terms of improving the elements of your well-being that you might have just been too busy to focus on. The next thing is staying tuned for the book. So I'm writing the What Happens Next book at the minute. It won't be ready until 2025. But what we'd love for you to do is keep in touch with us via this link that we're going to put below. Again, there'll be another QR code that allows us to let you know as soon as we can when the book's out. But not only that, give you a range of free additional material as a thank you for wanting to take a look at the book early. Hopefully that's useful, and back to the video. One of the challenges I think we face when we're thinking about our physical well-being, particularly if we've not done anything to focus on our physical well-being for some time, is it feels like a steep hill to climb to get back on that fitness or physical well-being journey. However, I think there's 3 simple things you can do today to get you back on the track to whatever physical well-being means to you. And it starts not with physical well-being, but reading 3 things. I love the fact that walking is one of the best things we can do for our physical well-being. And interestingly, when I'm writing the What Happens Next book at the minute, a lot of the research I'm looking at is the blue zones research. Now, blue zones are the places in the world where people live the longest, traditionally, and they outstrip in terms of longevity the majority of the world, but also the majority of the country they live in. The research is really incredible. There's places like Okinawa in Japan, parts of California where there's religion, which is interesting, but also Sardinia, and there's places dotted around the world where people live longer. And one of the things that all of these communities who have life expectancy far greater than the average do is walk. Now, it sounds really simple, doesn't it? But actually walking, particularly walking where there's a hill, is so good for your physical health and good for our happiness, particularly when we walk in nature. Now, there's an amazing article, and we'll put all the links to the stuff that we're going to talk about in this video in the notes below, from the National Trust, specifically talking about how walking, just the simple art of walking, can improve well-being. And if you're interested in this subject, the book Blue Zones is definitely worth looking at. So I'd love to know in the comments, where's the best walk you've ever had if you are a walker, but also if you're taking that first step towards fitness, where are you going to walk to today? Is it down the shop? Is it up and down the hill? Is it on a longer walk in beautiful countryside? Let us know where you're going to walk today. Number 2 is learning to eat well. Now, if you would have asked me 10, 15 years ago, my diet wasn't particularly good. When I was employed, funny enough, I had a Greggs the Baker's right next to the office, and it was way too easy and way too convenient to pop down to Greggs. But one of the things that I've done over the last 4 or 5 years, and still learning about, is eating well. Now, there's a really simple way to do this, and it's to eat more fresh, unprocessed foods. And the ultra-processed foods that don't do us any favours, where we look at the back of the packet and there's loads of ingredients we don't recognise, is a really simple way of just eating better. But there's an amazing book that I've read earlier this year, by a guy called Tim Spector, who's done loads of podcasts, done loads of videos on this stuff. His online content is incredible. But his book, Food for Life, was really insightful for me, and it's changed the way that I think about what eating well looks like, particularly in terms of just eating a greater variety of stuff. That was the tip that really resonated, but the book is incredibly deep but incredibly readable, so I recommend you read that today. And tip number 3 is breathe better. Now, it's interesting because for 46 years of my life, I probably took breathing for granted. However, I read a book this year called Breathe by James Nestor. It's called Breathe, the New Science of a Lost Art. And it was incredibly insightful in terms of thinking about how we breathe, thinking about what we can do in terms of breathing better, but also how meditation and breathing techniques can help both our physical and mental health. Definitely worth picking up. And again, I'll put a link to Tim Spector's Food for Life and James Nestor's Breathe, the New Science of a Lost Art in the comments below in the notes, so you can find what you need. So there's loads we can do to improve our physical well-being and nutrition and the way we breathe. That are the simple first steps to getting a better level of physical well-being. But I'd love to know your tips. What do you think you can do in a really simple way to improve your physical well-being today? I'd love for you to just put your notes in the comments, And don't forget to like and subscribe on this video so we can do more with What Happens Next in terms of making sure that in the next chapter of their lives, people are living a life well lived. Thank you for watching the video. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you on the channel soon.